you find yourself constantly engaged in a repetitive activity that you find yourself unable to get out of? Or do you constantly have a recurring thought that you would like to get rid of but you're unable to do this? Or is it that you find yourself in doing some actions, carrying out some actions or events that you would like to put an end to, but you just find out that you're finding it difficult to do that? Well, don't despair, you're not alone. These, actions or events are not bad. They're not bad in themselves. But however, you must have noticed that there are downsides to some of these actions and repetitive, recurring thoughts that you're having. Before we go further into that, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. For those who are just tuning in for the first time, if this is your first time, you're welcome to this beautiful channel. This is a community where we discuss, where we talk, and where we kind of share our faith in a practical way. And today we're going to continue with the topic that we started last week, and I will remember definitely to put the link in my description box so that you can, if you're yet to watch that video, you can watch that, so you can link it with this one. Basically, you may be suffering from addiction, obsession, and overcompensation. Addiction, I heard you say, yeah. Basically, anything that have a hold on you, you try to stop. You want to stop, but you just can't. It's an addiction, and it doesn't matter what it is. Could it be that you're sleeping too much? Could it be that the kind of food you eat? Some people will eat a particular food over and over and over and over again. They're tired of it, and sometimes it might not even be good for their body, but they just can't stop it because they just crave this food. They just eat this food. They just love doing it. It's an addiction. An obsession, on the other hand, is an intrusive thoughts that keep recurring. You just keep thinking about this and thinking about, you're obsessed with something. You just want to do this and you just want to go to this place. You shouldn't be doing it, but you can't help yourself. The thought is coming, constantly, consistently, repetitively, and it could be something like a mild OCD to a serious chronic OCD, repetitive hand washing, obsessed with a particular thing. You just, when you're obsessed with a person, you can end up stalking them. When you're obsessed with, something, you don't mind spending money on getting that thing. You don't mind going to any length. That thought keeps coming. And the more you entertain that thought, the more you enjoy at that time. But at the end of the day, it does have a negative impact. And overcompensation, what is that? That is when you take an action to correct something and you overdo it. It's basically going overboard, going extreme length and over the limit, overboard, OTT basically, to correct a thing. And at the end of the day, when you're trying to correct, might even end up being damaged because you're overdoing things. You're taking an excessive act to correct something that you think is wrong. So that is your overcompensating for something. You can overcompensate for a lack in any areas of your life. You can overcompensate for what you feel you need and you don't have. You can overcompensate historically. Like maybe when you were a child, you lacked something, and somehow consciously or subconsciously you promise yourself that by the time I grow up, I'm going to do this and this and this. And now you find yourself, having so much or too much of such a thing that you promised. So guys, I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay, I definitely have something for shoes. I have loads and loads of shoes. One of those three, all the three are applicable really, in the sense that I will use the word addiction, because when you end up, having something and you keep going out to get more and more, to still do these things, to still carry out that action, then that's an addiction, especially if you can't stop. And then when you keep thinking Or you just, oh, I want the latest shoe in town. Oh, I love that shoes. You see shoes on people, oh, I love that shoes, I must get that shoes. Oh, that shoes will fit me nicely. Or, you are obsessed with shoes. I won't say you have a shoe fetish, but I would say you're obsessed with shoes. Or when you start thinking, okay, when I was younger, I didn't have shoes anyway, so now I should be able to have as many as I want. Nobody can stop me. You're overcompensating for what you think you've lost in the past, and that was what happened with me. But I want to say that in as much as I'm saying that this is what brought about this issue of me having so many shoes, I do have a legitimate reasons, and I'm going to give you some legitimate reasons why you may end up being addicted, obsessed, and overcompensating. One of the reasons that I had was the fact that I had a bunion. No, not a bunion. I had bunion on my feet. So both feet had bunion. Bunion is the bone that sticks out from your big toes, and it affects the shape of your feet. It affects the shape of your shoes. It hurts really badly. So on both feet of mine, I had bunion. So what a reason. And I started looking for shoes. So the second point was I started searching for comfortable shoes. And in the process of searching for comfortable shoes, I started seeing beautiful shoes. So from comfortable shoes to beautiful shoes, I searched and I started buying different type of shoes. The third reason was that when I buy the shoe, after buying the shoes, I bring them home, I will try them on there. They seem perfectly okay. Of course, you have to bear in mind that you don't walk about with these shoes. So I bring the shoes home, I walk about for half a day, sometimes not even up to half a day. And then the shoes are uncomfortable. Of course, I've used them outside, I've worn them, so I can't return them again. What do? I keep the shoes and I go back to look for more. So it was a case of the more I search, the more I look, the more I see, the more I buy. So I ended up seeing beautiful shoes. So from comfortable shoes, I ended up with, oh, these shoes are so beautiful. I love that shoe. I love this shoe. So I was not just buying comfortable shoes anymore. My number 5 reason for having so many shoes was in the process of buying comfortable and beautiful shoes, guys. Then there came, boom, this historical event in my life where as a child I didn't have a nice shoes. I didn't have the type of shoes I wanted to have. I didn't have enough pairs of shoes, and I thought to myself as an adult, I now have the means of getting these shoes. No one can stop me from buying shoes. So those historical events came to me and I started overcompensating. So my buying of shoes now had moved from looking for comfort to addiction. From addiction, I'm now obsessed with beautiful shoes. And from beautiful shoes, I ended up going into overcompensation, thinking of what I didn't have as a child, now I can have it. And all this were happening without me realizing it. 6th reason is that it is very easy to get shoes, guys. It's very, very easy to buy shoes. Buying shoes is not a problem. And the 7th reason happens to be it's very affordable. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one half price. And they were all over the places. It's in the part of the world that I live in, it's better to buy a new shoes and cheaper and cost effective to buy new shoes anyway than repairing old shoes. Because I have tried in the past to repair some of my old shoes and I found out that I had to pay more. So why pay more for an old shoes when I can go out and get a new one? 8 reasons, regardless of how many shoes I bought. And I'm still buying, I'm not buying anymore, by the way. Regardless of how many shoes, I had storage facilities. I had a place to put them. And the more you have a space to put something, you will not even know. You will not even remember. You will not even notice that you have them. On odd occasion, guys, I've ended up buying the same pair of shoes twice because the ones I bought before were kept in a storage somewhere and I didn't remember that I've already bought. But that reason is that, hey, you only live once, guys. You only live once. So enjoy whatever you can afford to enjoy now. The 10th reason is that, okay, this is not a, this is the only luxury that I'm enjoying. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go clubbing, I don't do any other thing. This is the only thing that I do. So it's only shoes. It's not a big deal. And you know, that was the thought, you know, that okay, I'm not really spending money on anything else. And so why can't I buy shoes? It's my only luxury. And finally, the last point that I will give you why I had so many shoes, point 11, is the fact that, hey, I am working, I am earning money. So why can't I use my money to buy shoes? There are some reasons why people will become addicted to something. We become obsessed with something. We overcompensate for something. But I have just given you my points, you know, that, you know, without me realizing that I had gradually slipped from looking for a comfortable shoe because I had bunions on my feet and I was aching, I was hurting because I was constantly in pain, to being addicted to buying shoes. And it gradually moved from addiction to obsession rather. Oh, I love that shoes. And before I knew it, I was overcompensating, you know, because that thought kept reoccurring. You know, when you were a child, you didn't have this, now you can have it. You were a child, you couldn't afford this, now you can have it. When you were a child, your parents didn't buy you enough shoes. They didn't buy you good shoes. They bought you ugly shoes. And that ugly, battered shoe never seems to depart from my, you know, thought constantly. And that was me overcompensating. If you find yourself in that situation, don't despair. There is a way out.